How would you like to take advantage of a Sudoku rule that others overlook? I'll show you an amazing Sudoku strategy to add to your solving toolkit to solve puzzles like this much faster. Click below if you want to give this puzzle a go. And with that, it's solving time. Look up here in block 1. Where can a 9 go? You have these two 9s in columns 1 and 3, and a 9 right here. The only place a 9 can go is in this square right there. Greetings, friend. This puzzle's from the Sudoku Dark Arts Pack and created by the master puzzle setter Sam Kappelman-Lyons. I'll show you an amazing strategy that others often overlook or even refuse to use. And very important are these two cells right here. This will help us get to that amazing strategy. And so you're going to need to first find some restrictions in this puzzle. If you look at where the 1s can go, you notice there's not too many restrictions with the 1s. But if you look at the 2s, we can see that in this block 6 right here, the only place you can put a 2 is in these two spots. So I'm going to use Snyder notation. Anytime in a 3x3 block, you have 2 possibilities for a candidate, mark it. In case we solve one of these cells, you can solve the other right away. It helps us see some other restrictions. The nice thing about these 2s is that they form a pointing pair. You have Snyder plus 1 of the 2 in this 3x3 band, and so that means we got a pointing pair. And so now a 2 cannot be anywhere else in column 8 outside of the block. If you try to put a 2 here or here, you'd have no place to put a 2 in block 6. And so with this 2 and this 2, we can now restrict the 2s to these two cells here in block 9. And now if you move on to the 3s, and I'll kind of highlight where the 3s are, you'll see with this 3 and this 3, we have a pointing pair of 3s up here in block 3. So Snyder plus 1. Now the 3s are restricted to these two cells in block 9. Okay, looking at the 4s, got another pointing pair with these two 4s. The only place a 4 can go is in these two cells. So Snyder plus 1. And I'm not going to mark the 4s here because there's 3 possibilities. With Snyder, I only mark 2. Because when I solve one, I'm so much in the habit of solving the other right away. Just need to know that none of these cells can be a 4. Okay, if you look at the 5s, with these two 5s, you can put Snyder 5s right there in block 8. And then with the 6s, we got something neat going on. I'm going to give you a little bonus tip. You see how the 6 and the 4 are both in row 5? And then the 6 and the 4 are both here in column 2. So the 6 is restricted to the same two cells as the 4. When you see this situation, I call it Snyder on top of each other, you found a hidden pair. The 4 and 6 have to be in the same two cells in block 4. That means they're the only 2 candidates that can go there. So you can remove all other candidates with this hidden pair. And now what this does is this 6 and these 6 can act as a pointing pair. So the 6 are restricted to these 3 cells in block 7. And the other thing it does is you can see where can a 1 go here in column 1? Well, because of this 1, it can't be there. And because of this 1, it can't be here. You can actually solve for a 1 now right there and give yourself a 7-8 naked pair. And I cover naked pairs and hidden pairs and pointing pairs in my Sudoku solving guide. You can download for free in the pinned comment below. After doing the 7-8, we can mark some other 6s because of these two 6s. Snyder 6s right here in block 3. And then we can look in block 8 with these two 6s. Snyder 6s right here. Moving on to the 7s. These two 7s, you end up with another pointing pair. You might notice the 3 and a 7 right here. 3 and a 7 right there. We have another Snyder on top of each other. This is a 3-7 hidden pair. This is pretty cool what Sam did. Because there's a 3-7 hidden pair right here. 3-7 right there. Puts the 7s right here in this cell with the 3. So you got this 3-7 situation going on in all 3 of those blocks. And we always want to find those kinds of restrictions. It's going to help us solve the puzzle. We're getting closer to the spot where you're going to get these green cells. And that will be just a stepping stone to the amazing strategy you'll want to add to your toolkit. All right, after doing this 3-7 down here, we still have some more marking to do with the 7s. With these two 7s, you have a pointing pair of 7s block 5. Restricts the 7s, these two cells here in block 4. All right, how about the 8s? This 8 in block 4, there's only 2 places for an 8 in block 1, so this could possibly be an 8. And then you might notice with this 8 and this 8 right here, you have 2 possibilities for 8 in block 7. Okay, with the 9s, we can actually make another solve. Maybe you noticed this earlier with these two 9s. You can solve for 9 in block 6. And then with these two 9s, you have Snyder 9s in block 2. And then in block 5, these two 9s and this 9, Snyder 9s right there. And there's a tip for you, solving tip. We did all the Snyder notation 1 through 9, but we also made a few solves. So when you ever do that, go back and see if there's any other restrictions you can gather. And normally you'll get some other little easy solves or marks that you might need for the rest of the puzzle. And sure enough, with these ones, now you have Snyder 1s in block 2. And then with this one, and the fact we solve a 9 here, 1s have to be in one of these 3 spots. It's actually a pointing triple. And so with this one, you have Snyder 1s now in block 9. And now it's time to solve these green cells. Well, I want to show you what's important about these green cells, okay? And so what you might see is, what can they be? If you look here actually here in block 4, you might notice that 2 and an 8 are both in block 4. So 2 and 8 cannot be in any of these 3 cells. And then the 2 and 8 are right here in row 7, so 2 and 8 cannot be there. The only 2 places you can put a 2 and an 8 in column 2 is right here. So this is actually a hidden pair, 2 and 8, but it's a hidden pair that's not confined to one block, like this 4, 6. These are considered a locked pair because it's in the block and the column. This is just in the column. These are really hard to spot, but you're going to need it because it creates some more bi-value cells for you, some more restrictions. All right, and before I move on, I want to hear from you. Did you spot this hidden pair 2 and 8? Please drop in the comments, share with the other viewers. Please help me grow the best Sudoku community on YouTube. I learned so much about your comments to these and answers these questions, and so do the other viewers. What it's going to do is allow us to move on and find a few more marks. Okay, with this 5 right here, since that's a 2, 8, now you have a pointing pair of 5. So 5s cannot be anywhere else along column 3 outside of this block, and so the 5s are restricted to one of these spots in block 4. And guess what? That's it for Snyder notation and the easy solves. And so you want to get to, and we're going to have to find that amazing strategy that people overlook. In order to do that, you have 2 choices at this point. You either want to start looking at all the single candidate strategies, or you look at all the bi-value cells, because those are where the greatest restrictions are. If you were to continue put in the bi-value cells, you might notice right here, in addition to what we've already marked, this is a bi-value cell. It can't be a 1, 2, 3. It could be a 4, but it can't be a 5, 6, 8, or 9. So this is a 4, 7. And then this cell right here could be a 1, but it can't be a 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, or a 9. So that's a 1, 8 right there. And then right here in this cell, you'll notice it can't be a 1, 2, 3. It could be a 4, but it can't be a 5, 6, 7, or a 9. That's going to be a 4 or an 8. I'm going to come back to that cell because it's got something pretty cool going on here. Then right here, you have this cell. Could be a 1, but it can't be a 2, 3, 4, 6, 7 because of the pointing pair or the claiming pair of 7s, 8 or 9. So that's going to be a 1 or a 5. This cell right here, you might notice a 2, 4, 6, 8, 9 in the row, a 1, 7 in the column. So this is a 3, 5. And then this cell right here, 2, 4, 6, 8, 9 in the row, you got this 3, 7 pointing pair. So that's going to be a 1 or a 5. Almost done with the BVCs. You got 2 more down here. You might see is you have the 1s, 2s marked, 3s, 7, 8, 9. So all you can have is a 4, 5, and a 6. Because of this 4, that's got to be a 5 or 6. And because of this 5, that's going to be a 4 or 6 bi-value cell. So those are all the bi-value cells. If you look for a connection, you might find this is a bonus strategy for you. You might think this is the one I'm going to show you. It's not. But if you saw this, congratulations, because this is a really powerful strategy. It will help us find another Bivalue cell. You look at this cell right here. You notice that's a 4-7. It sees this cell right here that shares one of the candidates, a 7, as a 7-8. It also sees this cell in row 3 as a 4-8. So you see all three paired possibilities of the candidates, 4, 7, and 8 right here. This middle cell in orange, it's a pivot. It sees the other two. If this cell is a 4, then that cell right there would be an 8. If this cell was a 7, that cell would be an 8. So no matter what the orange cell is, one of these blues have to contain an 8. And so you can remove an 8 from any cell that sees both. If you saw this, you spotted a Sudoku XY wing. And the cell it affects is this one right here. That can't contain an 8, and neither can this one. But this cell right here used to be, or could be, a 4, 5, and 8. Now you're going to remove an 8 from that cell and create another Bivalue cell, 4 and a 5. You can learn more about XY wings in this tutorial. It's not the amazing strategy I'm going to show you. Okay, you have to move a little bit further because that XY wing doesn't do enough. Instead, look over here in column 9. You notice you have a 1, 2, 8, 9 and this 3, 7 hidden pair. What's left right here? A 4, 5, and a 6. And you're like, that's not a, what's the big deal, Timberlake? The big deal is when you notice these 4 cells together. What you might see is that all 4 cells contain a 4 and 6. And 2 of them are in the same column in the same block, 4 and 6. The other 2 are in the same column, same block as each other, yet they contain this extra digit 5. Okay? Now, there's a very important rule to this puzzle and all the puzzles in the Sudoku Dark Arts pack that you have to remember, and this is what people overlook. The basic Sudoku rules are that the candidates, 1 through 9, can only appear once in each row, column, and 3 by 3 block. We know that. However, the extra rule, and what you'll see in almost every Sudoku you solve, is that each puzzle has one unique solution. You have to apply that to apply this next amazing strategy. And some people say, hey, Timberlake, that's kind of outside the rules, so I don't like applying these strategies if I can't guarantee it has a unique solution. Well, Sam and the other makers of the pack said there's a unique solution to this puzzle. And they count on you using it in order to see this shortcut, because it ends up being a shortcut solving. And so by knowing that, we know that you cannot eliminate a 5 from these 2 cells. Because if you did that, what you end up with is you'd have, either a 4 right here, and that's a 6, that's a 4, and that's a 6, and go back and solve the other possibility, 6, 4, 4, and a 6. Well, you'd see the puzzle would have 2 solutions, right? If there's no 5 here, you have either the 4 and 6s would be interchangeable. And we know that can't happen. The puzzle has to have a unique solution. So we got to break this deadly pattern of 4 and 6. The only way to do that is with this extra candidate. And since this appears in both cells, this is called a unique rectangle type 2. In fact, it's actually the same strategy I'm featuring in my Sudoku September Rewards Puzzle Pack for members only. You can learn more about that down in the description. But since you know one of these digits has to be a 5, we can remove a 5 from any cell that sees both with a type 2. A type 2 is when the candidate appears in 2 of the cells. And they got to be both on the same side. So you can remove a 5 from right here. You can remove 5 from these digits. And you can actually remove a 5 from this cell right there as well, right? You can't put a 5 in there. Otherwise, you end up with a deadly pattern. And you can learn more about unique rectangles in this tutorial. But this is beautiful stuff. What's it going to do? We still got a little bit more solving here. In fact, I'm going to highlight these 3 cells because there's a really cool trick you're going to need to see with those. But we can follow and start making some solves. This cell now has to be a 1. Okay? And after solving that for a 1, what you end up with is none of these cells can be a 5. So the only place a 5 can be in column 8, right there. All right? And that'll give you a nice 2, 4, 6 naked triple with this cell. So that's a 2, 4, 6 naked triple. Okay, after solving that 5, now we can do a little bit more solving here, because you see that this places a Snyder 5. Solve for 5 right there and solve for 6 right there. And I'm going to get to why these green cells are so cool. With this 6, you know, that's going to be a 4, and that's going to be a 2 or a 6, naked pair. Okay, let's keep on with the solving here. Look across row 5, you solve the 1 right here. This has got to be a 3, 5, or 7. With this 5, that's the 3, and now you have this pointy pair of 5s, so the 5's got to be right here at this place, and that's Snyder 7. And then with that 5, this is going to be a 1 now, okay? So you're able to solve that, and then you're able to solve this for a 3. And you got this 2, 8. Remember the 2, 8 hidden pair, that means the 7 can only go right here now to finish column 2, which means you can solve this for an 8, solve that for a 2, solve this for a 7. You just want to disambiguate all these bi-value cells as much as possible. Now you can solve that for an 8, solve this for a 1, displacing that Snyder 1, and this 1, and these ones, you can actually solve for 1 right here now in block 5. We're looking beautiful. I know, I'm getting you to these green cells here. All right, after doing all that, look across row 3, we can actually solve all these cells in row 3. Now, because with this 7, that's got to be a 4, which means this has to be an 8, okay? And you just end up with a 3, 7, 9 in these 3 cells. I got the 3 and the 7 right there. That's going to be a 9. The only place the 7 can go is right here, which means that's a 3, and this is going to be your 3. Displace that Snyder 9, solve that cell for a 9, solve this for a 7. Looking good. Now, where can you go? Let's look at block 9 now. Because you got the 4, 5, 8 right there. You just need a 1, 2, and a 6. So I'm going to use this 2. Solve this cell for a 2 now, displacing that. And you just need a 1 or a 6 with this 6. That's a 6, and that's a 1. And now we're going to solve the green cells using my neat naked triple trick. You have a 2, 4, 5, 7, 8, 9 here in the block. You need a 1, 3, and a 6. Well, we have a 1 and a 6 right here, 2 of the 3 digits, and then the 6 is repeated right there, or the 1 repeated. Either way will work. We can solve all 3 cells. Because of the 1, 6 right there, this has to be your 3. The only place the 6 can go is right there, and this is going to be your 1. That's my neat naked triple trick. All right. And almost made those digits disappear. We don't want that, though. And with this 3, now you can disambiguate the 7 and the 3 here in block 9. You got a full house, so this has got to be a 4 with these 2 8s. This has to be an 8 now, and you just have a 3 and a 7 right there. With this 7, we're going to pull it on down from block 5. That's a 7, and that's a 3. All right, I got another full house right here. I don't see a 5 in column 4. So there is your 5. So we can solve this cell for a 5. We knew one of these digits had to be a 5. That's the one that is going to be your 5 there. Okay, let's finish the rest of the solving. Because you have this 6 right here. Just place that Snyder 6. You got a 6 right there. That's going to be your 4. That's going to be your 6. That's going to be your 4. Disambiguate 2, 6 right here. Looking good. And then you know that you can only have a 2 right here and an 8 right there. Full house in column 5. And so I know that's got to be now a 4, which is going to allow you to solve this cell for a 5. Displace this Snyder 5. Solve this cell for a 5. I don't see a 4 in block 3. We can solve that. I don't see a 2 in block 1. I don't see a 2 in block 2. So you immediately go over, see the 2's missing, boom, solve it right away. And our last digit is an 8. Now see if you can spot the amazing strategy in this next video. Thank you so much for watching.